Hello everyone, it's Jess Conto, your Wasteland reviewer, and welcome to Wasteland Talks, my weekly talk show where we talk about whatever we want, kid version of my intro, because we, as in my wife Jess and I, and all of our fun Bluey friends here, are going to be talking about The Sign, one of the new special episodes of Bluey from Season 3. So Jess, this is going to be a spoiler discussion, so we're going to go all in. We have a Bluey down. So, do you want to show off first before we get to talking about the episode?
Oh, it's okay.
Okay, well, you could just vaguely see that there is a Bluey and
a... show them all?
That's up to you. You put them there.
Yeah, it's like a fun little background.
And where'd you get them, Jess?
I made them, Shane. Thank you for asking.
Yes, my wife indeed made these, so...
They don't sit very well, but it's okay.
You could hold them.
We're gonna get there. I could, but then...
Well, Jess, what were your general thoughts on The Sign?
I enjoyed it. It's the Bluey special. It's the longest Bluey ever.
Yes, the longest Bluey episode. This was a half-an-hour episode of the show.
It didn't feel... I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm usually crying at the end of the 7 to 8 minute episodes. It didn't feel much longer. I enjoyed it.
It definitely moved well. And what was the basic story?
Well, it parallels or reflects the ancient, I believe, Buddhist or Chinese proverb of the farmer, which I actually have verbally pelted Shane with quite a few times, I think, over the course of our relationship.
Yeah, but what's the plot of the episode?
There's a wedding.
And?
Aunt Frisky and Uncle Rat are getting married.
And
they get in a fight.
Mm-hmm.
And because he's not communicating adequately, so she storms off, and they gotta find her.
Yes, so...
It's a real runaway bride situation.
It's Chili, Bluey, Bingo, Muffin, and... Socks all go off on an adventure to find her after she runaway bride from her wedding. So basically, Bluey did Runaway Bride.
I don't blame her, honestly. It was crappy of Rad to just be like...
Well, Rad was like...
We'll get married and then move in with me to the western side of Australia.
Rad was telling people that they were going to move to a completely different part of Australia and didn't seem to tell his future wife.
Why would you tell your brother that? Stripe doesn't strike me as someone that can keep a secret.
Rad did not do anything particularly rad.
I did really enjoy that the wives all banded together at that moment, though, where Stripe's like, "Oh, I hear Trixie calling me," and she's like, "No, I'm not."
Mm-hmm. It's like, no, you have to confront this, because, and this particular episode had a fun little story. Had a lot of details to the story. And
so many Easter eggs.
Little Easter eggs, little nuggets, like plot devices that were laid out throughout the episode that wound up coming back. Because what's the other plot going on besides the fact that there's a wedding coming?
They're selling their house. The Bluey house. So I read on Instagram this morning, they got 50,000 messages. Bucky Dunstan, who's a huge piece of crap. He's the one in Dragon that bullies Bandit when Bandit's drawing cars, and he's like, "That doesn't look like a car." So all my homies hate Bucky Dunstan.
There we go.
And of course he's a real estate agent.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, they're selling their house, which is like a big thing. And it, I've seen it twice now. Once with you, once the day of, because if I got it spoiled for me, I'd be
which I
upset.
did get the ending spoiled for me thanks to TikTok.
Oh, I felt so bad because Shane mentioned it and I just made a face and I was like, "Oh no, that's the ending."
Which, this is a spoiler discussion. So the ending is this all builds up to...
They're moving and... well, the whole thing is interconnected. It parallels the farmer story where everything is interconnected and you don't know how it's going to turn out until... how it's going to turn out. But... everything in the plot links immediately to something else in the plot.
Correct.
So, like, if any of the things in the episode didn't happen, none of the other subsequent... Well, I guess some of them could have happened, but the ending couldn't have happened, where they find Frisky and the coin is in the wrong slot because Muffin and the dogs that were going to buy their house, see Winton, here's an Easter egg, Winton and the terrier's mom moving in together, and they see a pool, which they wanted in the first place. So then they back out of the sale, and then, Bandit rips the sign out and hucks it.
Yes. So finally getting back to the ending of the episode is they pull the sign out of the ground, and they're not going to sell
the background, Shane. It's all connected.
I asked you for the ending. And
you gotta build up to it.
So, basically this episode, as somebody who doesn't watch a ton of Bluey, I've watched Bluey episodes. I'm not up to date on every single Bluey episode, but I did watch all the last batch of episodes with you.
Yeah.
Because...
Oh yeah, and season 2.
Like,
3.
leading up to this point where they're going to sell the home, and obviously that's a big emotional thing for any child. And... like, it having that Goonies ending, or just, like, ripping up the contracts, like, and never again! And we're like, we're not going to sell.
And in Ghost Basket, which was released immediately before this, was when they did the big reveal at the end.
That there's a for sale sign house outside of the house. So, yes, it was a big emotional moment with, Bandit and Chili.
That's so sad. It's so sad to see her, like, trying to pull it together. I'm a big fan of Chili.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, most of the episode is fun shenanigans with Chili and the little girls, and they're all having a fun time. Bluey gets to sit in the front seat.
We love a talking socks.
And then Chili gets to teach a cop voiced by Joel Edgerton the actual law.
Oh, yeah.
Because he pulled her over for having a small child in the front seat.
It's quite a coincidence because I've had contact with various police departments over the past, and, like, it's really hard to tell the people that I'm telling the story to that... Because when I called for the specific issue, I got 3 different answers from 3 different cops, so it was funny to see that, like... I guess it's universe because it's law enforcement, not... Well, anyway, it was just funny to see that in Bluey form. I'm like, she's dealing with it too.
There you go. And it was an intricate, well put together episode. Obviously had big emotional moments. Frisky played by Claudia Dougherty, who I really like. She pops up in a lot of things. She's in that Peacock show with what the hell? With, it's Killing It with Craig Robinson. And I really liked her in this. She did a good job doing the voice work for this. And obviously it has all the stuff that you want out of a Bluey episode. It has a fun little story. And it has emotion. Because this show makes my wife cry a lot.
Oh, it makes everyone with any feelings at all cry a lot. Shane.
Wow, I've been personally attacked on my own show.
You've gotten misty. I've seen you get misty-eyed.
I've been personally attacked on my own show by my wife.
Shane's not a big crier. It's okay. I'll allow it.
Personally attacked. But no, this was a fun episode and also a big emotional episode. And obviously got a lot of hype. Got a lot of people talking about this.
Oh yeah, that's why I was on a retreat and... the Wi-Fi is not great there, so I downloaded it and was like, this will not be spoiled for me. I'm on a retreat with lovely ladies, none of whom watch Bluey or have children young enough to be familiar with Bluey. So I looked like an insane person more than usual, yeah. Because then they were asking, but over the past week, several people who don't watch the show have asked me about this because I think they're feeling a little bit of FOMO now. And I keep telling them it's not that complex. Like, you could watch it. I mean,
they're less than 10-minute episodes.
Yeah, and even if you don't watch any of the background ones.
This is on Disney Junior.
Yeah, I just said, you could, I mean, you may not get all the Easter eggs, like the green balloon from Mom's School and Flappy and everything. Like, you may not understand those, but you'll get it.
Yeah, and...
It's not like Game of Thrones where I started watching season 6 and was like...
As somebody who doesn't watch a ton of Bluey, it's like I was able to pick up on this. And it's universal themes. Like the idea of like kids being upset about potentially moving.
I moved. It sucked.
Yeah.
As a kid. It was awful.
So that's definitely something that's relatable to people just in general. And change. And it was a really well done episode and certainly hit in the feels. And that ending certainly hit. And it's just like, yay, they won't be moving.
For me, it's chilly, but you see her arm start to heave. I'm just like... Because she was so stoic most of the episode. Mm-hmm. You can also see... The second watch, I noticed more of Stripe and Trixie fighting in the background. Because I saw Socks plays with the two, like, bride and groom, and she's imitating them fighting. I was too busy being hypnotized by Socks and how cute she is. The second time around, I was like, oh, Stripe, honey. Of course, there's the part where he comes out of the bush at the end, because he's in Wendy's bushes and she sprays him. Classic Stripe. So...
Yeah, Jess, do you have anything else that you wanted to say about the sign?
I think I've been semi-unhinged enough about my love for Bluey for today.
Okay, well, thank you for listening and talking about this latest episode of Bluey.
You don't need a lot of investment. If you're feeling the FOMO, it's fine. Just watch the episode. You'll understand it.
You'll get it. They're little kids.
You'll get it.
People get married. Future husband makes a dumbass decision. Future wife plays Runaway Bride.
I do have one more thought. I love that Rad owns up to it. So when they have him on the phone in the car on speaker, and they're like, "Did Frisky run away because you want her to move out west?" And he was like, "Oh, probably." Like, he didn't have to do that. He could have hung up or said something else, but like, we love someone who takes responsibility for their own actions.
I don't know if it felt like more he's taking responsibility or he's just dense and was just like, oh yeah, that's probably it.
No, I think he knew because I feel like it's implied, and there's a lot of stuff that's implied if you do get into Bluey. Like, there's a lot of implied stuff that kids don't necessarily get, but I think that it was implied when Stripe immediately realized that he messed up, that he knew he wasn't supposed to tell. But also, don't surprise people with that. That's my relationship.
Don't tell other people. Like, don't tell other people your plans for your wife.
Before you tell your wife.
But not before you tell your wife, before you discuss it.
Yeah.
And have a discussion about moving and not just being like, hey wife, we're moving after we get married. And you don't tell her until after you're married.
And I'm not super familiar with Australia, but I happen to know that Western Australia is so much... There's an entire continent of nothing in between Western Australia and Queensland where they are. Brisbane. Like,
Australia's a big place.
And it's interesting. I love those little population charts. But yeah, no, like, that's a huge move.
So in the end of the day, communicate and don't sell your child home of your kids because you'll ruin their...
You'll ruin their... having moved as a child because we moved to a better area, like, I get it, but it's tough.
It's tough. That's the end of it. It's all process, and I guess we'll have to see if that move eventually happens in the future. But for now, it looks like they are not.
And there's a new episode out today. Everybody watch Surprise.
We have to watch Surprise! I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, I got a little misty-eyed.
Well, there you go. Stay tuned for that discussion. But Jess, thank you for coming on and talking Bluey the Sign.
You're welcome, Shane. It's an honor and a privilege.
And thank all of you out there for always tuning in, supporting your Wasteland Reviewer.
Maybe next time I'll have muffin and socks.